June 24th, 2015, Jerusalem, Israel. This is a convoluted story of three men: Zias, Simcha Jacobovici, sure I'm mispronouncing his name, and Ron Wyatt. Now, I'm going to explain why these three men, Ron Wyatt, Simcha Jacobovici, and Zias are all connected. Now, Zias here has just been sued and found guilty in court, sued by Simcha, the naked archaeologist. There's a dark underbelly to the world of biblical archaeology in Israel. The latest saga involves an Israeli-Canadian filmmaker, host of a TV series called The Naked Archaeologist, who believes he found a tomb of Jesus. And it goes on to say how he sued Zias. Jacobovici wouldn't speak about his archaeological theories, but he did say one thing. I just think it's a very simple thing. Democracy ends where libel begins, he said. When you accuse people of criminal activity, of planting evidence and things like that, you have crossed the line from legitimate debate into just plain old classic libel. But here's the interesting thing is, because Simcha Jacobovici is claiming that he accepts debate and has not tried to stifle debate, while Zias is saying that he's trying to stifle freedom of speech. But Simcha used his lawyers in order to keep this journalist out of court, but the judge overruled him. And so there seems to be more to the story of Simcha just wanting and accepting freedom of debate, because why would you want to not allow a journalist inside of a courtroom? That's one of the most basic premises of freedom of speech, which Simcha says that he's not trying to stifle. Now, here in Zias' homepage, he references Ron Wyatt and says he began his career of exposing frauds in the 70s, and he references the guy who found Noah's Ark. He's talking about Ron Wyatt. And it turns out he did a hatchet job on Ron Wyatt back in the day, and had sent letters to all kinds of organizations doing a smear campaign. Now, believe it or not, I actually met Zias the day after the verdict, and he was at my friend's house, mutual friend. He was sulking over there with a beer, and we had a discussion, and it turns out he was mentioning he was the archaeologist, curator at the Israeli Antiquities Authority and at the Rockefeller Museum. And I had mentioned Ron Wyatt's name, and he just began slandering Ron Wyatt. And I asked him, what is it that Ron Wyatt did? And he just kept character assassinating him without giving any specifics. And I told him, everything you're saying is just character assassination. Give me some specifics. And he said, well, Ron Wyatt didn't have a degree in anything. Well, so what, Mr. Zias? Neither did anybody who had discovered most of today's major archaeological digs and sites, like the Dead Sea Scrolls, were discovered by an illiterate shepherd boy. So I met him the next day, just bumped into him after I met him, and he apparently sent a letter to my friend referencing more information about Ron Wyatt, because apparently, he was exposed. I mean, I hear this kind of slander against somebody, I'm not going to just believe it and accept it and shake my head like pretty much everybody else would. I called him out on it, and he had nothing to say. So he thought about it apparently, and troubled by it, and he sent a letter to my friend, and in that letter he had a link, and the link went to a letter that he sent to people all over the world in different areas regarding Ron Wyatt. And tent makers, to your discredit for printing this letter and going against Ron Wyatt, now you're exposed along with Joe Zias, who's just been found guilty of libel for slandering Simcha. Now here's a letter from Joe Zias. Mr. Ron Wyatt is neither an archaeologist nor has he ever carried out a legally licensed excavation in Israel or Jerusalem. So basically he's accusing Ron Wyatt of committing a crime, because it's very evident that Ron Wyatt has done extensive archaeological digs openly in Israel. In order to excavate, one must have at least a BA in archaeology, which he does not possess despite his claims to the contrary. We are aware of his claims, which border on the absurd, as they have no scientific basis whatsoever, nor have they ever been published in a professional journal. They fall into the category of trash. So this is his hatchet jobs, Joe Zias, curator of archaeology, Israel Antiquities Authority in Jerusalem. This is a similar kind of hatchet job he did against Simcha, writing letters to Simon & Schuster and National Geographic, and apparently getting his book delayed and deals canceled. Simcha claims he cost him over $2 million. And Simcha just won in court. Joe Zias found guilty. I mean, it couldn't have happened to a more deserving fellow than Joe Zias for the hatchet job he did against Ron Wyatt. Now, Ron Wyatt has spent his life researching biblical archaeology, and here are images of Ron Wyatt from his youth into his senior years, and his entire life on site doing scientific digs with high scientific standards and equipment. And then when you look at deeper about Joe Zias, he was in a case that the Israeli Antiquities Authority brought against somebody for producing an ossuary that had the name Brother of Jesus, James Brother of Jesus. And this gained international notoriety, and so they sent out Joe Zias to do a hatchet job and to claim that this thing was a fraud and he had seen it before. And they're trying to put this man, Oded Golan, in jail, saying that he fraudulently added the phrase Brother of Jesus, when he says that he earlier saw this ossuary in Abu Shukri's store. Here's the store of, I thought it was here, but in any case, I'll leave links. Here's the store of Abu Shukri, and Abu Shukri knew this ossuary was worth a lot of money because it said Brother of James, Brother of Jesus, and this guy says he told Abu Shukri he should just sell it for $200 because it was worthless. While Abu Shukri knew this was his retirement because it was the ossuary of the Brother of Jesus. And in court, it's really convoluted. I'll leave a link. You should read this. Now let's move on to Simcha. We've pretty much established what a fraud Joe Zias is. Now this is a clip from a film that Simcha did, and what he's claiming is that the Ark of the Covenant is not as described in the Torah, in the Bible, which has a very clear description of the Ark. He's saying that the Ark of the Covenant actually looks like some trinket that has been discovered in some museum. And let's forward a little bit here and show you the picture of, here's Simcha here, and here he is in the museum, and here is what he's representing that the Ark of the Covenant really looked like. This is what he's basing his whole premise here, that this is what it looked like. So he's changing the angels to birds And if you go to the Bible in the book of Exodus, it describes exactly how to make it and to use cherubims and to have them facing each other and to have their wings covering the top of the ark. Okay, and so he's changed what is very clear to this based upon a piece of jewelry they found in a museum. And worse than that is that he uses his Jewish look, and his Jewish name, Simcha Jacobovici, wearing a big kippah, right? So here he is, and he's on all these different channels and whatnot and different television programs because they're basically pandering his Jewish look to go against the holy book of God and the holiest object, at least in this program, using this program to go and confuse people about what the holiest object in the Bible really looks like. In other words, we're not supposed to believe the Bible, we're supposed to believe his theory based upon this piece of jewelry that he found, and that's the entire evidence of it. Well, this is Simcha's website, and he brags, or at least tells about him winning 800,000 shekels for suing Zias, and not afraid, I write in the comments, "Congratulations on your victory. I had a conversation with Zias the day after the verdict. We spoke of Ron Wyatt, and he used his position to slander Ron Wyatt without any evidence. It was simply jealousy. You served as the ghost of Ron Wyatt to exact the vengeance of God. In your case, I do agree with one criticism, and you are welcome to sue me, and you will be countersued. And that is this. I do believe that when you did that video showing two birds, which could have been an artist's license or similar, you used it as the only evidence to change the most holy object in the Bible from angels to birds. In that, I think you were evil. I think you were using the Bible to make money, and that it was probably not even your original idea, but was fed to you. I believe that you and your Jewish name and looks were used to slander the Bible by showing a false image of the ark and saying that it was what the ark looked like. You both deserve what you get. He got his, and yours is on the way. Yosef Yom Tov. He being Zias. So I do believe that Zias got what he deserved for libeling Simcha, but I believe it was because he actually libeled Ron Wyatt. And I believe Simcha is going to get his for libeling, confusing the Bible. And if you go to Ron Wyatt's website, I recommend that you do, you'll find out the different discoveries of Noah's Ark, very compelling images and scientific discovery of Noah's Ark in Turkey, Sodom and Gomorrah, the location of Sodom and Gomorrah, the Red Sea crossing, location of the Red Sea crossing, even found chariot wheels along the crossing area. It goes on, and I will leave a link to Ron Wyatt's website. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to this channel. I'd like to hear your comments, and share this video with your friends. This channel is not just about exposing the conspiracies against humanity, but it's also about providing solutions from a biblical perspective here in Jerusalem, Israel. Thank you.